it over.
Oh. Hi, and welcome to today's edition of the Screening Room. And I have a special guest today, Miss Nicole Chan.
Hello, hello.
Yes, and today we will be reviewing, well, a special film. It's called Uncharted. And for all of you who do not know, this film is actually adapted from a series of games that, if you have played it before, it kind of looks like an Indiana Jones kind of game mixed with a bit of Tomb Raider, and has several iconic characters, namely
Nathan Drake.
Yes, Mr. Nathan Drake. So years ago, when they wanted to cast Mr. Tom
Holland.
if you're not noticed, Miss Nicole Chan is extremely into Mr. Tom Holland.
I think he's really cute. I think he really rocks the whole Nathan Drake. Okay, I wouldn't say rock, but like he has the very cute boy face, you know, doing the shaking thing. I think that was very attractive.
You know that Tom Holland is basically just an oversized man-child that still is wearing his diapers, right?
No, but his face make up for it.
A face doesn't make up an actor.
Yeah, it attracts girls, okay? And he attracts people like me to go watch the film. That's all it matters already.
We are not reviewing the film based on attracting girls. I should ban you from this. Let's get down to the basics. Well, if you played the game, it's basically about this adventure going around searching for clues, buried treasure, and then he has this particular mentor named Sully. So many years ago, when casting started to look for an actor to play this character, there was another actor that, in a way, was leading the post, and his name was Nathan Fillion. And they did a fan film, and he fit the role. So personally, I think he fits him more than he fits this guy. Okay, but that is just me. What do you think?
I mean, look at this. The side profile.
I will send you to Jesus.
A lot of people really wanted Nathan Fillion to be Nathan Drake in the film, but unfortunately, even as how good the fan film was, the studios did not listen. They went for someone who basically could be a box office draw, and that was Tom Holland, because hot from the heels of Spider-Man and the Marvel Universe, I think it was a very shrewd piece of business for him to be cast as, you know, Nathan Drake. But you know, let's just put that aside. It was a weird casting. And then the character of Sully, what do you think? Mark Wahlberg.
Definitely doesn't hit. Right? I mean, look at Mark and look at Sully in the game. Totally different.
I have to agree on that. That piece of casting is strange. I mean, Mark Wahlberg basically plays every character in a film like Mark Wahlberg. His acting range is very limited to just flexing his muscle and looking very constipated most of the time. But that's Mark Wahlberg's acting range. It's just, you know, that's basically about it. But I have to say that overall, after watching the film, and viewers, mind you, we'll be talking about spoilers. So if you have not seen the film, you need to exit now. Okay, so back to the review. After watching the film, I felt that this particular treasure type of film has been done before, and some other films before has done better. For example, National Treasure, starring Nicolas Cage. The thrill of seeking a clue from another clue, to me personally, it has been done better. The Chase of Lost Artifacts also has been done with Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark, and to some extent, Tomb Raider. So to do a film about seeking a treasure, you've got to either do it better or you got to have something that no one has done before. But given the material that they have based on games, it's kind of limited.
Yeah,
you know,
I agree with that.
It's kind of limited. So the story has, basically it's like coming of age story. We have a very young Nathan Drake that has a history of losing his brother, and then later on he meets Sully, and then with this particular set of clues, trying to find some treasure. So obviously Sully thinks that Nathan, which is a younger brother of Sam in this character,
Can lead the
automatically
way, knows everything.
knows everything
like
just
the
because they're
sun.
brothers. So it doesn't
Yeah.
mean that, hey, you're my brother. If I'm a scientist, by you being my brother, you're also a scientist. That to me, I think is a major plot hole. But sometimes we are supposed to suspend our disbelief of logic, and this film really tests your suspension of logic, if I must say so myself.
Logic doesn't exist in this.
Yeah, I mean, some of the characters, it's just wasted. For example, one of the villains, Antonio Banderas, a wonderful actor, is absolutely wasted in this particular film. Very minimal lines, and then in the end, he has to be killed off for no reason at all by his henchman, who automatically, after kills, she just takes over the empire. I mean, who's to stop the other henchman from killing her? Nothing. There's no backup plan, there's no structure, there's nothing. From one part to another part, it's just too convenient. It's just
It
like,
doesn't lead.
it's just there is one scene that they're trapped in a manhole deep underground.
Yeah.
And then they were
Spot
searching
on.
for this particular key. And then the keyhole is just in front, and when they open the door, it leads to a nightclub.
It's just conveniently over there. It's like the nightclub over there. The keyhole is just there.
What made me wonder is like the nightclub existed in this ancient place, and when they were renovating for the nightclub, they didn't
Nobody
realize
changed
that
it. No, it's just they just left it there.
it's just ridiculous, and it's just one thing after another. I have to say, it just feels like a student film.
Emotional damage.
I think some part of it was not so well developed, and it in a way forces me to try to believe their world, but I do not know.
It doesn't bring you into their world.
Yeah,
movie.
and I also had some problems with some of the pacing. I think the pacing could have been tighter. It could be the editing, I'm not so sure, but I do understand that you want to set up the world building, but man, there's just way too many flashbacks. You come to one point and then you flash back.
Think back about the brother.
Yeah, then you come back again, then you flash back, and let's talk about Tom Holland. When we introduce his character, he's in a bar. He's doing a Tom Cruise impersonation of cocktail. He's like spinning bottles.
Charming the ladies.
Right, and then he's like pickpocketing all the time, and I do understand that, but what is it about? I mean, if the film is about you doing drinks, I understand, but if he's a treasure adventurer,
Maybe because it's like origin stories, right? So they're trying to show like him before he really become like a, what do we call them? Surgeon?
a surgeon.
A searcher? Treasure hunter? Because like they're showing him pickpocketing, right?
So
like,
basically,
he's
there's an
good.
occupation called searcher.
Brain lag for a moment.
I need another guest. Okay, so one of the problems I have personally about this film is that even though this film is supposed to be from or inspired from the series of games from Uncharted, if you played the games, when the film opens up with that, if as a fan of playing the games, you will be so hyped, you will be extremely very excited that, look, that's exactly how I picture the film to be. It's a tribute to the game. But as the story wore on, you find that they kind of like diverted and they deviate from quite a lot of things from the game, and they have a lot of original content.
I think it's because like they try to have an original for Nathan, as well as like try to like pay tribute to the game. It becomes very it doesn't satisfy anyone.
So we can safely say that it was trying its best to, in a way, pay tribute to the games, to satisfy the gamers. But because it's like kind of split in terms of the game lore and the new storyline, it may end up not pleasing everyone.
Any of both sides, yeah.
You know, and as someone who's played games, but I didn't play the whole Uncharted series. I played fragments of it. Just off the bat, even as a generic film goer, I didn't really leave the theater in a very enthused manner, if you can call it. Do you think this film would, stay into the memory of a lot of people? Like, oh, that was a good film. I can't wait to watch the sequel again. That kind of stuff.
No, personally, as like the neutral audience, I felt that like it's a film that I'll watch if like I have time for it. Yeah.
Same here. I feel that it should be streaming. It didn't really have the pull factor to watch it over the cinema. Even though you lavish with the special effects, and let's talk about the special effects for a while.
CGI.
The amount of CGI. I mean, modern day films have special effects, from Avengers to Spider-Man. We do understand because we are supposed to live in that fantasy world. But man, the CGI in this film,
bad.
What do you
CGI
think?
is bad. I don't know how to explain.
Okay, yeah, so that's that is something else. And the last act, what do you think about the Spanish ships when they found the treasure?
Pirate ships flying.
Yes, the last act is a sight to behold, because when they eventually find the treasure, which the bad people came to get the treasure, which is still inside the old Spanish ships that has been there for hundreds of years. So the ship is like on the verge of being, decaying, rotting.
It's gonna break apart.
Right, and yet there's a giant net, like a fishing net. They can
Just
cradle
everything
the
in
whole
one
ship
piece.
in one piece, and it's not tearing
And
apart.
it can maneuver through the holes.
That's not even the thing we're talking about. Not only it being the capacity to maneuver, but one helicopter having the ability to carry the ship. Now, I checked online that Spanish galleon weighs 1,500 tons, and that helicopter, that model, can only lift 650 plus tons, give and take, the most stretching it at 800 tons, whereas the other 700 tons
Magically disappear. It's a movie. The movie doesn't have to make sense sometimes.
And the best part is that they actually have sword fighting
Yeah.
on the ship while the ship is flying in mid-air,
can
being
just stand
hoisted
there.
by the
Just stand
helicopter.
there.
Your suspension of disbelief and the laws of physics, Albert Einstein will cry to that. But of course, the absolute hero that is Tom Holland would not defray Miss Chan's admiration for that scene.
Because actually, all in all, I felt that it was quite entertaining. Although, like, yeah, I agree. I wouldn't say that it's a good film, but I say that it's an entertaining film.
Okay, I would have to agree somewhat. It was marginally entertaining. When I say marginally entertaining, means I did not leave the theater.
Emotional damage!
Okay, it was marginally entertaining. But the only problem that I had was that the suspense that was supposed to be suspenseful didn't really keep me on the edge, on my feet. I didn't like, oh, what's going to happen next? What's going to happen next? Very few films that I've seen actually do keep me anxious. Like, what's going to happen next? Films
Keep
like
you on your toes.
the Usual Suspects. If you've not seen the film, Seven. Come to think of it, those type of films that what's going to happen? What's going to happen? But this film, like, yeah, I know what's going to happen. Yeah, that's going to happen. Oh, yeah, that's going to happen.
Yeah.
So, suspense-wise, not there. Well, there's only one thing to do. We're going to grade this film based on our personal preference. For me, personally, regardless of what they've done to this film, the effort that they're supposed to get and the enjoyment factor that I have, I'm going to grade this film, okay, Uncharted, a C+. What about you, Miss Chan?
C+, not bad. I gave it a B-.
She's way too generous for this
I'm a
film.
very nice person.
Yes,
Just
you
on
are.
Tom Holland. Just on Tom Holland. Yeah.
Okay, so if you enjoyed this particular review, please click like, subscribe to our family, and click on the notification button if you want to be notified for more videos. I hope in the future I can have more guests to come and have this particular repertoire. It's a bit refreshing than the old version, which I sit in my old room being sad and lonely doing my own review and things
Thank you
like
for
that.
having me here.
So thank you very much, Ms. Chan, for being my co-host, and thank you everyone out there, and we hope to see you soon. Come back anytime, the room is always open. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.